What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Texas State Crit Championships. This is day one on the Cat 3. There'll be a full race linked in the description if you want it, but here we are from the start. I think we started with maybe 50-ish riders, and there were no major teams. This team in the green up here had a decent amount of guys, but they didn't have a lot of the super big heavy hitters, so I wasn't too worried about them. It was a lot of just individual ones and twos that were really making up a lot of the race, but this is interesting because they're racing on bricks, which certainly makes things a bit harder and breaks up the field. So here we are 8 minutes in. This guy jumps. There's currently a break of 3 up the road. I'm right on his wheel, so I just go with him. You can see the break going around the corner. There's 3. This guy must have been with them but just got dropped off. So he's going hard, but nothing too bad. I mean, we're only 8 minutes in, so still pretty early. You can see the field's pretty much right on us, but there's a break, so I pull through here when he swings off. Don't want to let them get too big of a gap this early and they get out of sight. But here we're on the brick section, which certainly rougher than like a perfectly flat asphalt road, but it's not horrible. The GoPro does a pretty good job of stabilizing it. It's pretty bumpy, but nothing like the true Roubaix cobbles or anything like that. Up a little hill here, and in kind of the tight part of the figure eight, I jump as soon as we catch them. Figure why not just go straight through. The Williams kid, who I know, he's on my wheel, so he's a good person to be in the break with. I just kind of keep on the gas here through these corners. Can't really take them too fast with only like one block in between, so still can't get a ton of speed, but can certainly keep the pressure on. You can see we have a slight gap, but nothing too major than a couple guys and then a gap to the pack. So I wait for these guys to come through. I don't want to be pulling back immediately. The Williams guy gets a little bit of a gap. These guys don't seem too anxious to want to chase, but I just hop on the back of them. I have to do a little sprint to get on. That maybe should have gone sooner, so I didn't have to do this effort, but kind of mess up like that sometimes and they go by you. But you can see we have clear daylight behind. Don't think at this point this is going to be the winning move, but still good not to miss it. Don't just want to wait for the pack and then this stays away. You can see we're catching back up to the Williams guy, Luke Ferris. He's super strong. I knew he was one of the favorites going in, so you got to watch him. Here we are. This is the right-hand turn back onto the bricks. There's kind of one long straight and then 2 short straights that are on the bricks. So this is certainly the harder part of the course. Gaps can open up here. Some people do better than others on the bricks. I didn't really have a ton of issues with it, but they weren't too bad for me. But the pack kind of catches us up through there. They put a big effort in, and the race is all back together through 6 laps. So here we are later on. I'm moving up, coming up 9th lap now. And some attacks kind of go right as I'm starting to move up, so I have momentum. I just jump on them. You can see there's some people already kind of off the front, and then there's a group of 2 that's even further. You can kind of see them right at the top. They're towards the end of this brick section. They had a decent gap. They're on the right-hand side of the road. I don't really know that you can see them, but they're coming up to that corner, and guys are just dropping off, but I just keep going. Let's see. Yep, the 2 leaders just made the corner. So I'm second wheel in the group. We don't really have a gap, but you can see behind it's strung out. You know, it's single file. But we still haven't broken separation. This guy puts in a little dig up the slight rise. We're back on the kind of tight part of the course here. It's hard to really create gaps, but I want to start bringing that group of 2 back because they've probably got a big enough gap where you want to start chasing instead of letting it keep go out. I'm pulling through this whole section and just keeping the pace high, starting to bring them back. The chase is on. The group is strung out, so I know there could be a split, and we end up getting like a counter move that bridges up, and that could be the winning move. So stay on the gas through this final brick section into the right-hand corner. I swing off here, let the next guy come through. Don't want to spend too much time on the front. and we start to get a bit of a gap now. I hop back on. This guy comes up. There's a bit of a gap to the pack. Not a ton. They'll probably bring it back here, I think. But anyways, we're just rolling. You can see that group up the road. It's come back a bit from where it was a lap or two ago. They're making that corner. Here we come. The pack is back on us now. It's not really a break. It's just kind of us chasing, but it was a kind of a hard effort, so I figured I'd show it. Had a couple harder points like this in the race, and also, sometimes we're just sitting in. So I'm back on the front. Oh, maybe not quite yet. Could have maybe been doing less work through here and letting other guys chase, but you can see in the back camera more guys start attacking up the right. I'll move across here. He pulls off. I'll move across to get on their wheel. Now we start to get some separation again, so forming a little counter move. The gap has certainly come down to the two guys up front. I come up to these guys. One of them just sits up. There's a lot of people just going in moves and then sitting up, but I don't know what they're really doing. I guess they just don't think it's going to work. So now there's a bit of a gap. I figure kind of need to close it at this point. I know I need to, if I want to win, at least the best chance for me to win is in a break, so I need to go with as many good moves as I can to give myself the best chance of staying away. I hop on this guy's wheel. Still chasing. The pack is on us. It's still strung out. These couple laps were fast or faster. Nothing ballistic, but certainly harder than before this. Here we are back on a start-finish stretch. I'll come around here. He flicks. Just keep the pace high. Don't want to sit up. But this kind of got the chase going. I think after this, people realized, there's guys at the front. We should chase them. So after this pull, I start to realize, okay, I'm doing too much work here. Need to save energy. So I just kind of sit up. Let the pack come through. The chase was kind of going at this point. There were enough guys, so those two people ended up coming back, and we were all together coming up towards the halfway point. This was a 50-minute race, so almost halfway. Here we are, over halfway. You notice we've sat up here. The speed's really low, less than 20 miles an hour. Chris Williams jumps. Then the Bikes Plus guy follows him. I jump on him. Have the Williams kid, Luke Ferris. He's on my wheel. So some strong guys are going. Can't really tell if we have separation at this point. Obviously, when you're in the race, you don't know. You just gotta go and see if it works. Maybe a little bit, but we're stringing things out again. He keeps it hard up the hill. 400 plus watts, close to 450. So it's not a big hill, but it, just 1-2% enough to feel it and slow things down. Now we're back into the tighter section. He sets up, but I just go to the front, keep on the gas, hoping that we have a gap right now and get a break. Go hard here to get back up to speed in this corner. Now we're on to the next two kind of short brick sections. Taking pretty hard pulls here, 400 watts there I was for the corner, back up over 400. So I'm certainly trying to create a gap if possible and get a move going. Back on to start finish now. I'll swing off, let this guy come through. We've raced a bunch together on Thursdays, so I know him. And there's Luke. So the three of us have a gap now. We have a good gap, but I know this is a strong break if we can work together, but still a big field behind, and it's going to be tough to stay away, especially in these type of races. So flat crits, tough to get a gap and hold it. He pulls, I come back through. We're just rotating at this point. I think you could see behind there, two more riders start to bridge up. Back onto the long bridge section now. Yeah, it's just two of us. Luke dropped off, so that was too bad. Going from 3 to 2 really hurts your chances. The two of us still have a gap, but I think up here, I start to realize that Luke's gone. He decided it wasn't worth it. I'm probably starting to think the same thing at this point. Just two of us, still a long way to go, but you never know. Have a decent gap still right now, actually bigger than I thought it was. But he's still going hard. I'll follow. I'm not just going to sit up. I'll keep rolling until they catch us. At least make them put in some work since we already have the gap. Here I come through. Not going super hard at this point, only 300 watts. Kind of realizing, hey, it's just two of us. You know, realistically, we can't hold this, so might be worth it to just sit up. Yeah, here I'm sitting up. You can see by this point they're pretty much on us. All it took was one dig up the hill, and they had caught us. So, yeah, here we are. All back together. The pack's just rolling up, but through the halfway point, 30 minutes in, Grupo Compacto once again. None of these breaks were really lasting long, so that's not good for me, but we just have to see how it goes. Now we're inside, 5 laps to go. Things have slowed back down a bit. 19, 20 miles an hour. And then you can see that guy on the right there jumps. Some people start to follow him. So now we're starting to get a decent move going. There they are. More people are kind of bridging, but it's still kind of all over the place. Gaps are opening. People are coming up. People are sitting up. Kind of a bit of everything. I'm on this guy's wheel. I'm hoping he just closes it down for me. That way I don't have to do any work and spend time out front in the wind. But the guy on the right sits up. He sits up. So I put in a big attack, or I don't know, big sprint up the hill. And I kind of gap the guy behind me, which is good because that way I can kind of force it into a break and not just have the field strung out and create a gap. So now I'm just trying to bridge up as quick as I can, spend as little time in the wind. Basically caught them at this point. You're in the draft. I'll just come through. So we have a group of maybe 7 or 8 at this point. This is a pretty good move. 5 laps to go. This could stick. If we keep it on the gas and can work well enough together. I'll just leave it to the finish at this point. It'll be a bit of a longer video, but oh well. See the whole kind of end of the race and how it plays out. There's some more people behind trying to bridge up. They know this is a good move. But the whole pack isn't on them, so that's good. I'm just sitting in here, not going to the front, not wasting energy pulling when I don't need to. You can see 29 miles an hour, so we're going 30. We're going hard enough. This is a new slight headwind, I think, too, down the start finish, if I remember right. So that was pretty fast. See a few more people have bridged up. Looks like 2 more guys are behind me now, and the pack is strung out behind. We kind of start to split here. Guys are trying to skip their pull and move to the back, which kind of causes splits, and that's part of what ruins breaks, is when people don't want to pull through. So that's not great from trying to keep away, but you can see those 3 or 4 guys just kind of mark themselves like, I don't want to be next, and they kind of gap themselves off. So we're now down to a smaller group of 1, 2, 3, maybe 5. One of them kind of starts to catch back on, so it spills a bit, but it's still hard. These last kind of 5 laps were all decently fast. The pace was on, and the pack was still trying to catch us, because this is a big group to stay away, and you're losing any chance of winning if you're not here. So 8 or 9 guys still, they kind of caught back up. I'm third wheel. I'm just gonna pull through, not try and skip my pull, because I know we need to stay away. That'll be a better chance, versus 8 versus 40. So I'm on this guy's wheel. I don't really know who it is, but obviously he's up here, so he's strong enough. Kevin there on the right pulls off. This guy will come through, take his pull. Just kind of rotating at this point, kind of standard. Nothing much really going on. I think we're seeing 3 laps to go here, if I remember right. Yeah, 22 out of 25, so there it is, 3 laps to go. I pull through, going pretty hard here, 400 watts, 370, so certainly not riding easy, trying to force this. You can see there's a group behind. They're just coming around the corner there on the back. They're going pretty hard trying to catch us. Looked like another group of 7 or 8 trying to get up here. I swing off, back onto the bricks. Them on the right. Luke kind of puts in a little dig. Not a full-blown attack, but ups the pace a bit. This guy's letting a gap go. I have to close it. So that's not ideal, especially right after taking a pole, but certainly hard effort late into the race. Heart rate's high 180s. Still a bit of room to go, but not a ton. Make this corner up the hill. I'll just let this guy close the gap. Don't need to be in the wind here. Just unnecessary. At this point, just trying to keep in the brake, but save as much energy as possible. Only pull when needed. Don't be dumb. You can see behind the group starting to catch us. There's more guys coming up. You can see there's kind of a longer tail behind us. Now he sits up. I have to close this, so I was hoping he would, but he didn't really. That's okay though. Kind of down the hill, I was able to just get in the draft and carry momentum through the corner and then right back on. So we're up to maybe 15, 20 guys now. So another group of around 10 caught back up. I think this is about as big as the group will get. The rest of the field's kind of splintered off the back and blown up. This break certainly kind of blew up the race here towards the end. So anyways, I'm back on the front. Not pulling as hard, only 300 watts. Now I swing off and there's no one there, so we're kind of cat-mousing each other a bit with 2 laps to go. So kind of is what it is. There's already a decently big group now. It's not really a break anymore, so it doesn't really hurt if more people catch up, but I don't think anyone's really in range and still feeling good enough. But still going easy through here. 22 miles an hour, that's pretty slow through this section. This one guy kind of swings off to the right and puts in a little dig again back on this brick section, but people jump on it this time. They don't let it go this late in the race, especially when it's not hard. He's really just kind of keeping the pace high, not really attacking. But we're going pretty fast through here. Coming up towards the hill. Starting to think at this point, what do I need to do to win? I think I was kind of in it's going to be a sprint between us mode. That was my mindset, which maybe wasn't the right thing to be thinking. I should have been thinking about how to get away because it was such a big group, but I was kind of preparing for the sprint. So I think I should have been trying to think about attacking somewhere through here. Where on the last lap do I want to attack, instead of just letting things come down to a sprint where I know I'm not the strongest, using a bit of longer power. Took a drink there, get some water. It was fairly hot out here. I think 90-ish, 92, something like that. So not horrible, but not cool by any standards. So we're rolling into 1 lap to go. Once again, cat and mousing, going easy. No one wants to be on the front here. They're all trying to set it up for a sprint. No. There's no real teams in here to do any sort of lead out to. So no one's just going to keep the pace high for lead out and the sprinter. This guy goes on the left. I'm at the front. I jump. I'm not really in the wind though, so that's good. In the draft the whole time. Not wasting energy. Here's a spot where I could have gone. He sits up. Kind of sits up through the corner. Now he really starts to... Oh no, he's still driving. Just a bit of Garmin here with the speed there. But it's back up. Now we'll switch to the back camera. Notice Luke and the white kid on the left. He jumps kind of on the opposite side of the road. I hesitate just a little bit, and by the time I go across the road, he's already gapped me, and there's one guy in the middle. So I'm full effort here, 500 watts on the bricks, and I'm gapped off, and at this point, there's not much of a draft. I mean, really none. So this is not where you want to be on the last lap. You want to be the one attacking, not the one in the wind chasing. So I should have done exactly what he did, but instead I was too focused on the sprint, I think. But at this point, I'm just trying to close that wheel, but I was gapped off and couldn't quite get there, and I'm in the wind. I was doing, 500 watts up the hill, 400 watts through here. You can only go so fast through this section with all the corners. Back up to 400. Now I'm starting to catch up to him, but at this point I'm pretty gassed. It's a hot race. There's been a hard kind of last 5 laps. So I'm kind of gassed at this point. I kind of sit on his wheel. I maybe should have jumped for the sprint, but I'm tired, gassed, and there's a draft that I wanted, and then I should have gone right here, but I wait, I sit on his wheel, and then these guys come around, and by the time I start my sprint, it was already too late. So I'll give it all I have to the line, but Luke ends up staying away. He had a great win. I come around that guy, but 2 people had passed me, so I come in 4th. Not bad, but not amazing. Could have played it a bit better at the end, but anyways, thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.